Okay, we're back this morning, and I'm getting my walk in, right? I just want to talk a little bit about a couple of things. And one is why you need a side hustle, right? Having second and third sources of income is no longer an option, right? It's something that you must do, right? Oftentimes you're working harder, but you still feel like it's just not enough, okay? Uh, Many of you live in paycheck to paycheck. That's why you need the side hustle. Okay, you need to make sure that you got enough. Okay, you got enough money. Okay, and relying on one income is detrimental. Okay, it doesn't do the trick. Okay, you need multiple sources of income. That's why you need the side hustle. Okay. Um, the other thing is inflation. Okay. I'm gonna be straight with you. Okay. Inflation is is probably the one of the biggest reasons why you want a side hustle. One of the biggest reasons why you need multiple sources of income. Okay. If you just look around at what things cost, cars, houses, groceries, daycare, right? Tuition, you name it. Everything has skyrocketed. It has skyrocketed. Okay. And what inflation means, inflation simply means that you've lost your purchasing power. Okay. And that's especially true after C-19, COVID-19, right? 2020, right? It seems like everything have almost doubled after 2020. And that's because the government had to print a lot of money. Okay, they had to print a lot of money, and so what that did, that drove up inflation. Your purchasing power is just less. Okay, $1 buys less. Okay, and we don't even need to talk about fuel and stuff like that, right? It's just off the chart. And I got a F-250, right? So my truck uses diesel, right? So you see what I'm talking about, right? But every time I get fuel, I just fill up, right? I fill up my truck, I get fuel. I don't sweat it, right? It's not a big deal, right? But I just know that it used to cost somewhere around $100, $125 to fill my truck up, right? Right now, it's about $250 to fill it up. Okay. So the other thing is the reason why you need a side hustle is salaries are flat, right? It's just that simple. If you're a W-2, salaries are flat. If you're 1099 and you're servicing customers, right, you got to be very careful when you want to increase your price. When you want to go up on your price, or you think you can push it up maybe $5 or $10 or whatever the service or product is. You got to be careful, because what people will do, if you go up on price, they just gonna cut you, right? They're gonna cut you and go find somebody else. Okay. And of course, if you're W-2, you can just look at this yourself, right? You can go and look at the data on the internet, right? If you look at charts and graphs for engineers and people that's in tech, security people and stuff like that, you will see that the increase in salary is almost flat. Okay. Now there are some sectors and some jobs, right, where you see a significant income, right? You can go in, you can make 250,000 or 300,000. People like Nvidia and Meta and Google. They're paying top dollar for AI folks. Okay, people that have skill sets and know-how in AI. Okay, but overall, for the general population, right, you're talking about engineering and the tech sector, even in nursing, right, and hospitality, it's flat. Okay, wage growth wage growth has been much weaker over about the last 10 or 15 years. Okay, so salaries are flat. That's just it, right? And um, and like I said, depending upon a single source of income, that's detrimental. That's your biggest risk, right? That's why you need a side hustle, right? That's why you need to be looking at something like trash pickup, right? Car hauling, right? Assisted living, right? Real estate, right? And I'm not talking about getting in real estate to be a realtor. I'm talking about getting in real estate to acquire assets. We're going to talk about that, okay? But having a single source of income is your greatest risk. It's the greatest point of failure, right? The other reason why you need to have a side hustle, right, is because of lifestyle creep, okay? And I know this is a big one, okay? This is a big one, right? Because when we earn more money or we get more money, we always feel like we can go and buy more, right? We go buy stuff that we don't need, okay? That's the main thing. We buy things that we don't need. And my rule of thumb is this, right? Always just, if you think you need to go and buy something, just wait, right? Wait 24 hours, wait 1 week, wait 3 months, wait 6 months. Just wait, right? You know, and if you absolutely can't wait, then maybe that's a real need that you need to go and spend money on, okay? But there are many, many, many things that we just don't need. All we need to do is just look in our houses, look in our homes, okay? Look in our yards, right? We will see things that we don't need, okay? Amazon, Walmart, right? The FedEx trucks and the UPS trucks, they're constantly running and dropping off packages to people's houses. And I'm gonna tell you, I think Amazon and Walmart is great, right? I use them, right? My wife uses them, okay? And so, but many times we buy stuff that we just simply don't need, right? So we need to be putting that money to the side so we can invest that money, okay? That's simple, okay? And then the other reason why you want to side hustle, and this is the big one for me, right, is you want additional money or income or financial resources, whatever you want to call it, right? You want additional money so you can acquire assets, okay? That is the name of the game, okay? And so if you look at real estate, if you look at gold, if you look at, crypto, and crypto is in its infancy, right? I think that's where a lot of leverage is. That's where you can become a multimillionaire, okay? You educate yourself about a couple of the key coins, right? And take up a position, right? And just hold on, right? Okay. You create wealth over time, okay? And so what you want is you want to side hustle so you can acquire assets, okay? And even gold, right? You can buy gold right now at a fraction of the cost. You don't have to buy a whole kilo, okay? You can buy gold. You buy gold, you buy silver, you buy real estate, crypto, right? Those things that holds value over time, okay? And so that's your hedge against inflation, to be honest with you, okay? That's your hedge against inflation, okay? So you want the ability to acquire assets. You want the ability to acquire enough assets, right, such that over time, right, you can live off of those assets, right? You can make $100,000, $200,000-$300,000 a year, right? At 4-5% interest or some type of mechanism, an interest-bearing type mechanism, right? Or you could borrow. You can borrow against those assets, right? Okay, you don't have to go to the bank and get a loan and be charged 3, 4, 5, 8% or whatever like that, right? You just borrow against your assets. You pay that money back. You borrow against your asset, and then you become your own bank. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of put that on you this morning, and I know most of you already know that you need an additional source of income, a second or third source of income, okay? And so that's why you want to be listening to the types of things that I'm talking about, because, I'm going to be bringing to you, right, ways that you can easily get in the game and make a second and a third source of income. That's it for now. Take care.